Let's talk about gun laws or gun rights. I have a lot of friends that own guns. Um, I moved from the Northeast down to Florida, so it took a little getting used to, but it seems like everyone I know has a gun. So I ask my buddies. I say, "Do you feel safer owning a gun?" Well, yes. I want to protect myself and my family. Now, this begs a question. What I asked them, I go, do you have kids in the house? They say yes. Do you lock up your guns? Yes. So one of my friends is at a birthday party, brings out 5 boxes of locked guns, and I say, okay, great, you got them locked up for gun safety, so your kids don't hurt themselves. What good is a locked up gun in your house? If someone breaks into the house, are you going to tell an intruder, hey, wait, 1 minute, I need to get the combination to my gun lock and open up my gun case? Uh, Worse if it's in a gun safe in the garage and you're in your master bedroom sleeping and somebody walks in. So I've never really understood and gotten that logic. If you want to truly own a gun for protection, for self-defense, I really feel like you need to have that gun on you 24 hours a day. You need to have that gun in your nightstand. You need to have that gun side holstered when you're driving. You need to carry that gun everywhere that you are legally allowed. Because, like that hockey game up in Rhode Island 2 days ago, where the guy pulled a gun on his wife, ex-wife, whatever, and his son, and he shot both of them in the stands. Luckily, a good Samaritan stepped in and stopped more people from getting hurt and was able to subdue them. But what if you were a gun owner and you didn't have your gun on you, or it was in your glove box in your car? How safe are you feeling if you can't defend yourself and your family because your gun is in your car or your gun is locked up at your house? What's the point of owning 5 guns in cases locked up if you don't have them available to you to use at a moment's notice? And I think about this all the time when there was the multiple situations with Walmart, people walking into Walmart and just shooting up Walmart. What good is a gun for protection if you don't have it on you? There are websites that say, like, here's a big myth: having a gun for self-defense makes individuals and their families safer. This says the fact is that guns in the home increase the risk that anyone in the house, including children, will die from a firearm, suicide, homicide, or unintended injuries. I kind of agree with that. There are crazies and lunatics all over this country. Everybody's a little bit imbalanced. A lot of the times it's just people having a little bit too much to drink, playing with the gun in the backyard. For New Year's here down south, some people were shooting off their guns for New Year's, and they accidentally shot into the neighbor's house. And that guy was arrested. I don't know if it's a felony or a misdemeanor. I have no idea, but I mean, the guy was arrested. Great way to ruin your life. Great way to get a record. Great way to get your guns taken away from you just because you're a dumbass. I think there's places in Texas. I remember hearing this. I don't know if it's true. Places in Texas where every resident is required to own a firearm. Now, I feel like up north there was a lot more crime, and people were taken advantage of from criminals because people didn't have access to guns. So I can see it both ways. Down south, I feel like there's more murder because everybody has a freaking gun, but there's a lot less petty stuff. I think people have a little bit less road rage because you never know if the guy next to you has a gun. Never mind guy, you never know if the girl next to you has a gun. And I would much rather have a gun on me so I could intervene and save someone's life that was being assaulted I mean, just yesterday, somebody was on the beach in Daytona, and a 14-year-old kid was on the beach with his family, and a guy came up to him and slit his throat. 13 stitches. They said if it was 1 millimeter deeper, it would have cut his main artery and he would have died on the beach. Now, I'm sure somebody attacked that guy and beat the ever-loving shit out of him for attacking that kid, hopefully the kid's father. But that shouldn't have even happened. And that guy shouldn't have even had a chance to get arrested. Somebody should have pulled a gun and shot him on the beach in self-defense. Clear, cold, no question about it. So, I can understand gun rights from both directions, and gun issues. Being that I'm from up north, I remember all the reasons that they would say you can't have guns, that only the criminals will have guns. Unless you ban guns throughout the entire country and take all the guns away, and you prevent manufacturers from making guns except for the military, criminals are going to get their hands on guns. They're going to get guns that are trafficked into that state through other states that have weaker gun laws. So unless you make it a federal mandate throughout the entire country, which will never happen, you are never going to get the guns out of every single person's hand. Now, granted, there was a video years ago. It was a gun control video, and it was about it was talking about the Constitution, about our right to bear arms. I think that was originally written, just like the commercial, for muskets, so that you could defend yourself from tyranny and repression of your own government. But that's before machine guns, AK-47s and M16 rifles and, submachine guns and the proliferation of this stuff, even semi-automatic handguns. This was, back in the day of, you have a musket, single shot, took you a minute and a half to reload, and, you were only going to defend yourself against somebody with the same exact weapon. And you can only shoot one person every minute and a half. But nowadays, you can unload a magazine of 18 rounds in less than a minute and kill a lot of people doing it. So I don't know if that's really what the Constitution meant, if that's really what it was for. Maybe the Constitution could use a little rework. Maybe we rework it and the Constitution is really meant for hunting rifles, single shot, or maybe 8 magazine shots for hunting with a scope. I don't know anybody that goes hunting with an AR-15 or an AK-47 with a Kalashnikov or anything. That's just guys going to the range, just goofing off. And a lot of ranges won't even let you unload an entire clip, semi-automatic. They have, rules that you have to slow it down and do that kind of stuff slow. That's an easy way to get kicked off a gun range. There's a comedian, Jeffries, and he has a gun control bit from his album called Bear, B-A-R-E. It was a Netflix special. He did 2 parts. He did an update to it later on because people called him out and said some of his stuff was bogus. But it's pretty legit. He's pretty freaking funny, and he puts his finger right on it. The guy's Australian or South African, I think. And it's his perspective on American guns and American gun control. I'm going to put the link in my description. I really urge you to listen to it because it is hilarious. And it makes fun of Americans and our stupid obsession with guns. But let me know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Thanks.